Hey there, folks. We're going to get started in just a moment here. Hang tight. All right. Thank you for joining me here today. And hello to you, Foxy. I see you're in the stream chat there. And today we're going to be doing some in-game testing of the latest changes that I've been making to my persistent jobs mod, although it's certainly becoming more of a jobs overhaul mod as time goes on here. So let's get to it. All right. So we're taking a look here at, we'll do a little rundown of some of the changes that I made first, and then we'll hop into some testing. So just taking a look here at what we've got. So we've got, just standard loading, some logic to load the mod, and then on toggle, we're actually replacing a coroutine that the unused train car deleter class is running, and we're replacing that with something that I wrote down below, mostly a copy of, well, I say mostly, but that's maybe a little bit not true. But yeah, it's mostly a copy in terms of deleting cars. But of course, we don't want, things have changed a little bit, and we don't want to delete cars necessarily if we don't have to. So basically, this will change some things around so that right now the job chains kind of look, well, literally like a chain. They're a straight line. They start with likely a shunting load job. They progress to a transport job, which then becomes a shunting unload job, and then that turns into one or more empty haul jobs, which ultimately just stop doing anything and creating new jobs. So what my goal here is to do instead is have, of course, shunting load jobs still become transport jobs still become shunting unload jobs. But some of the cars from a shunting unload job have a chance to skip the empty haul job phase and go directly to a new shunting load job. And additionally, empty haul jobs have the ability to get turned into new shunting load jobs as well. And so that way, this should minimize the chance that train cars need to be despawned at all. Of course, there's still some ways that they can get despawned, but certainly it is a lot less than normal. Yeah, so we can see here's where some of that job generation happens for cars that have either been part of a shunting unload job or an empty haul job, and that are getting grouped into a shunting load job. And hey there, Latter. Welcome to the stream today. We're doing some mod testing, and right now I'm just running through a little bit of the code to explain what is changing, and so I think also what we're going to be looking for today. I'll get to that in a moment. But for right now, I'm just one of the bigger pieces of this is that jobs that, or train cars rather, that have reached the end of their life cycle in what would traditionally be their life cycle in the base game, now have a chance of becoming part of a new job. And this is where that logic happens here, is going through here. So we're grouping train cars by the set that, so basically seeing which ones are coupled together. And we're saying, take those sets that are coupled together and look for the cargo groups. Let's see, here we're populating the cargo groups. So basically, what cargo groups can a particular train set carry? And then, of course, we're looking for basically finding stations that we could be sending cargo to based on the cargo types. And then, let's see, here we're actually doing some job generation. And then for the train cars that we actually do generate a job for, we go ahead and basically preserve them so they won't be deleted by the default logic of this coroutine here. And so that's kind of how those how the loop, we kind of close the loop on the job chain and bring things around full circle. And of course, there's a lot more that goes into it. You can probably see over on this side here, especially since the chat has not gotten so long as to cover it up yet. But we're just looking at what's part of main here. But there's certainly other classes that go into making this possible. This is a little one. I think this one I largely just copied from Derail Valley because it was a private class. But yeah, some of these other ones definitely took a bit of logic or a bit of effort to write all the logic behind them. And so yeah, we're going to be today testing to make sure that logic works. I did a little bit of testing last night, just to take a look at some of the basics behind it. And there certainly were some bugs that came to the surface very quickly. Of course, I'm new to this kind of modding, or just really modding in general. And so some of the ways in which are available to access things that would normally be private, which is fantastic that exist. I just didn't know necessarily how to use them. And yeah, I had certainly some bugs to fix with that. All right, so we can see that that coroutine, the modded version of it, has been injected in place of the base version. So that's good. And of course, we'll need to be checking in on these logs every so often because they will be basically how we see if something has gone wrong. And let me hide the cursor there. But I do have a train, so I think most of the base logic, as far as leaving and entering areas, I did debug last night. But today we're going to be looking at kind of what happens with jobs as they are completed and whatnot. So I have a train over here that has a job going somewhere. Let us find that. I think I hear it. Maybe. It's getting louder. There it is. Whew. This may actually be a little bit too loud. I can turn it down if it's too loud. Do let me know. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's probably too loud. How am I going to do this? Let me see if I can do it this way. Perhaps that will be a better level. Yeah, let's see how that goes. Oh, it's loud only for me. You can hear just fine. Okay. Well, I turned it down, so let me know if it's now too quiet. So let's. Oh, I need to put it in. Yes, the reverser in forward. Let's get going here. Now, I did leave a train on the main line back at steel mill, so I'll have to go take care of that. So looking at the logs here, everything looks okay for now. Let's get up some speed here, and then I will race ahead to move that other train. Let's try to get up to like 50, we'll say, before I do that. 50 or so. Maybe like 55. That should do it. All right, let's run ahead here. Oop, let's not get stuck under the bridge. I think I'm going to need to throw some of these switches as well on the way there. And I do hope that I will be able to move the other train and catch up with this one by the time it reaches this descent up here into steel mill. All right, we're coming in here. Looks like we need to throw that one. Coming across the yard. Throw that one, and this is, of course, the train that we need to move, which we need to start. All right, and I'm just going to move it into the tutorial area as soon as we get some brake pressure here. And I will use this chance to, oh no, generate out chain job, value cannot be no. Ah! Okay, well, this is a problem. All right. So let's see how we can fix this. Okay. We are looking at what? This is part of exception thrown during. I'm always a bit silent. Okay. Certainly I'm, yeah, I will see what I can do. But peaking at around -6 to -3 works well for speech. Game is okay at 15 or 18, music at 22. Yep, I will certainly take a look at those things. It looks like my speech is hovering around about, I guess maybe like, it does peak up sometimes to like -4, but I think it's hovering around like -10 mostly. So I may be able to bump that up a little bit. And I am already running a compressor on it. So I may, yeah, I certainly may be able to do that. Actually, let me take a look at that right now. Let me just, because I should just be able to bump up the output gain a little bit here. And yeah, maybe that'll be a little bit better. We will see. I just bumped it up maybe like 1.5 dB. Yeah, okay, so at any rate, let's take a look here and see we've got a value cannot be null, parameter name collection. Okay. Okay, so generate out chain job prefix patch. So that is, of course, one of the patches that I've made. So let's take a look at that. That will be in the main file here. So let's see, generate out chain job patch. Okay. And I think it said we were looking for collection. Let's see if we see something like that here. No, so I think that's going to be talking about something else then. Right. And it's not an unexpected job type because we did see exception thrown. Let's see what else is said here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and open the full log and go ahead and pause the game again. Right, let's take a look at the full log here. Scrolling down to that log line. Collection generic list. Okay, so adding a range. Collection. Ooh, okay. So it looks like I'm passing in a list to add to another list, and the list that I'm passing in is null. And that is not good. So let's see, we have generate shunting, gen out shunting load. Let me see if I see either of these, because that would be helpful. Yes, gen job chain setup, collecting job types. Oh, generate out chain patch, getting track with space, gen out shunting load, collecting job types. Let me see. Let me see where that exists. Collecting job types. All right, so that only exists down here, which is part of generate job chain. Okay. Right. Generate out shunting load. Right, so then that is going to be part of the, it was down here, the gen out chain job. Okay, so gen out shunting load, right. So we're looking at this one, which means we are looking here. Can I click into this? Yes, I can. I want to open this if we can. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and so certainly there is a list in here somewhere that we are trying to assign another list into, but the list that we are trying to assign into it is empty. That is apparently no good. So let me find add range. And it looks like we've got 2 spots where we're doing that. So I have a feeling, let's see, train cars to add is part of compute job infos. Let's see if I have any more details here. So we have generate shunting load job with corresponding. Okay, yeah. So it certainly is in that section. So that is not this one, but is rather this one up here. No, wait, that was the one I was just looking at. Here we go. I think it's this one. If I scroll up, yes, generate shunting load job with corresponding. Right, so it looks like we are, trying to spawn some cars. Perhaps something in my logic here is not correct. Okay. Because if I pass in a range of car types to spawn, I would expect to get back out. Let's see, what class was that? Car spawner. Right, I would expect to see coming back out of that a list of generated or spawned cars rather. So let's take a look here at, nope, that's all right. Just scroll up here, car spawner should be around here somewhere. There it is. And what was that called again? Spawn car types on track. Spawn car types on track. Okay. So we've got train car types coming in here. We're getting uninitialized spawn data. Let's take a look at that one too. Spawn data. Is there any rail track is null? Point set. Train car types. Train car count. Prefab bounds. Interesting. Some of these, I don't know if this is the way that they're coded originally, or if it's something to do with the disassembly of this. But yeah, some of these variables are not very descriptively named. Makes it a little difficult to figure out what's going on sometimes. So it doesn't look like it's checking the length. Oh, here's a count, car spawn data. Yeah, so it's creating an array of the same length. And of course, if the length is 0, it's skipping this stuff. Or it's, so it's either cannot fit on track or it's uninitialized. Right, okay. Do we actually take a look at that? I don't think we do. Actually makes me wonder, spawn car types on track should be happening. Let's take a look at this one, because this has car spawning here. Yeah, spawn car types on track. We get a list. Okay, so it's certainly doing some checking to make sure that this isn't null. So yeah, it seems like that's probably what we're going to need to do as well. So spawn cars, but of course, if we are not able to spawn these cars, then we will, like, that'll certainly mess up some of the logic of the code later on. But it does make me wonder. You know, before I try to fix this, I certainly want to make sure that I'm giving it the right input, because I'm just a little bit worried that, like, a range count is. But could it be? I don't think it can be 0. Although certainly, perhaps if I'm trying to get, like, perhaps maybe this part is wrong, and I'm trying to get you know, like a range past the end, and so it's becoming 0. So yeah, let me go ahead and print these out. Let's see, how can I do that? I'm gonna have to use the dv debug log here. So we'll say string format, spawning cars with range 0, which is going to be the start of the range, 0 to, it's going to be 1, but we'll change this. And I'm going to just make things a little prettier here, capitalize that. So this is going to be range start, and we're actually going to say range start plus range count here. So that'll be our basically beginning and end of the range. Although that is not quite the way that it's passed in here, but we'll be able to see how these numbers compare to each other. Spawning cars with range. Oh, the other important information from list. I'm going to say list train car, and then we will make sure that we're printing out, let's see, this is ordered train cars dot count, right? Just so that we can see how long that list is and make sure that we are not exceeding the end of it. Okay. Now, I think that's as much as I'm going to change here for right now. Let's see, this is a shunting load procedural generator. I'm gonna go ahead and take this same logic and go ahead and put it everywhere where we're spawning cars. Let's see, there should be some car spawning happening here. Right, but we're just passing in the entire set of trains. So I'm not actually too worried about that one. Transport job. Let's see if this has any sort of loop for it. Spawn. Yeah, this one is also just passing in the whole thing. So I think I'm most worried about this one, and certainly that's where we were seeing the error. So yeah, so I want to see if we get that error again, and assuming we do get the error, I want to see that what these values are, so that I can know how I need to change this in order to fix it. Because essentially, I want to see if it's either bad input or if perhaps it is expected output, like the output is expected to be null. Because I certainly don't want it to wind up being bad input and to just hide it away behind some null checking. Right. So with that in place, let's rebuild. And let's go ahead and start the game again. I'm going to just roll back my save as well to just hopefully make sure that we are in a state where we can get some similar issues if they happen to crop up. Right, okay, so let's launch the game again. That was not what I expected to do. That's better. All right, well, we're probably going to, you know what, is it even really worth? So I'm probably just going to load up the save again anyway. Yeah. Right. Let's go along here and do a repeat of last time, and see if we get that error again. All right, I will fire this up just in case we don't have an error. We'll take a look now, and of course. Okay, so we're getting, looks like we're getting something different this time. Let me pause that so it's not quite as loud. I'll go ahead and close that old log, and we'll open up the full log again. Right, so let's take a look at this. So we are seeing some of this. Let's see, this is gen job chain setup, collecting job types, gen job chain setup, collecting job types, F. Let's see where it's printing F. Okay. Ooh, this is another one of these. Okay. At generate job prefix. Okay. Yeah, I certainly had seen this before. But was not able to figure it out. So, right, generate job chain. That's going to be part of the main class. Generate job chain. And we were seeing F, which is here. Right. So I think that's the last thing we saw. Yep. So certainly it is this here, this method. Get random from list. Which is coming from what? This is probably, station procedural job generator. Okay. So let's take a look at what that is supposed to look like. Get random from list. Yeah, it's just a list of T. Oh, how do you do a generic? Interesting. Oh man, this might actually, this might trip me up here. Certainly, I think it would just be easier if I used the version that I had copied out from there, which is basically just the same thing, except it's requesting that we pass in a random number generator as opposed to using one that's saved on the instance. And certainly this looks like it would do exactly the same thing. We're passing in a list. Actually, I'm going to compare this one to here. Where were we? I don't know. Oh, yes, here. Yeah, so we're passing in a list. We are getting the next number from 0 to the size of the list. Yep. And then we're just taking the element at that index and returning it. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and instead of fussing with this traverse and trying to figure out how to do like a generic, I don't think that's a thing, is it? Yeah. Certainly that does not appear to be a thing. So I'm not exactly sure how that works for generics. And I'm a little curious. Certainly I might investigate that on my own time. Yeah, what am I doing here? I just need to replace this. But yeah. Actually, I think I'm going to keep that just for reference. How to traverse generic methods. Leave it as a to-do for myself. But certainly for right now, I will just be using the version that I have over here. And this is coming from spawnable job types. Oh, right, and we need to pass in, what is it called? Pretty sure I used it somewhere else in here. Or do we just get it passed in, perhaps? No. Oh, yeah, we do. We do just get the random number generator passed in. Okay. Cool. So that is one issue down. And we rebuild. Going to go ahead and reset the save game data again. Oh, that was a comma and not a period. There we go. All right, let's relaunch this. All right, I think I'm going to say so much for trying to actually play this while I'm doing the testing here, at least in this initial period. And I'm just going to hop around the map a bit to the station here. Basically just going to simulate what I've been doing, but without having to wait for brake pressure each time. Whoop. Certainly hope we can get to some more interesting gameplay instead of just traversing the map. But yeah, it was looking like it was when I came into this locomotive that we saw some issues. Ooh, this looks promising. All right. So we're generating job chain setup. We're collecting job types. We get to B. We're getting tracks with free space. We're doing more setup. Collecting job types. We're getting to F and I. Let me open the detailed log on this. It's like, this is promising, but I also want to just check and see what it's doing. Right, so we're getting to F and to I. So F is where we got before. And then, of course, we're getting to I, right, which is an empty hall. Do we get to something like G? No, we only get to B on this one. Oh, right, because we're getting, the B is like at the beginning that we're looking for free space. This free space we find winds up being for an empty hall job. Okay. And certainly, ooh. Okay, I'm looking ahead a little bit here and seeing something that doesn't look quite so good. Yeah. So then we're getting free space, collecting job types, F and G. G is shunting load, right? Yeah, that's the one we had issue with before. And so here we can see it was, as one of my favorite math teachers from high school used to say, garbage in, garbage out. So we see here that we have a list of train cars with 0 train cars in the list, and we are trying to get the first 5 train cars out of it, which of course there are not 5 train cars in a list of 0 train cars. That seems weird. Maybe I wonder if I used the wrong list there for that print. Oh, you know what? I did. Because I'm actually looking for, what am I looking for? I'm looking for ordered train car types. Shoot. Oh, goodness. Okay, so there may be something here. There may be something in this list, right? Because we, again, garbage in, garbage out on a different level, but right. So uploading crash report. Let's see. Where is this null reference exception is coming from? Station procedural jobs controller. Procedural jobs coroutine next. Weird. Because it seems to say that it's spawning cars, but then we don't really see anything else from it. And we don't see the error happening right away. It looks like it seems to be somewhere else, which is interesting. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Let me see if I can just, oh, you know what? Where was I? Oh, interesting. The log, oh, okay, yeah, I see here. Oh, okay, so I understand now. So this full log is actually interspersing the Unity mod manager logs with also the logs coming from Derail Valley itself. So like if I open the log overview here, yeah, we can see that's where that's being printed. Right. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. How do I close that? Okay. Yeah, let's see what we can do here. Trying to think of like what might be causing this. Maybe something towards the end of this. What do we do here? We set, where is this happening? This was in generate procedural jobs coroutine. So if we come back here, take a look at the procedural job generator. Let's see if we can find, oh, I gotta click in the, oops. We gotta click in the file, but not wind up in another file. No, I don't see a coroutine. Perhaps it's in the controller. Ah, yes. So the coroutine here. So we start the coroutine. This dot generate procedural jobs coroutine, which is this one. So this is calling into it's calling into generate job chain right here. So job chain controller. So it does have a null check. If it's not null, it does that. Otherwise, it does, yeah, so not really seeing something here that could really generate this. Set up coroutine, do the next. Station procedural jobs controller. Oh, right, and it said controller right here. Duh. Generate procedural jobs coroutine. Right, that's back here. where are we yielding? We're yielding return null, break. Yeah, that's odd. While, oh, is it? No, I would have expected to see, it print many more of these if we had exhausted the number of attempts, because the number of attempts is set to 30. Right. Okay. And we didn't see any of these like generated blah blah blah. Unless it's like job key controller. I wonder if perhaps this generator is doing something else with the result that we are not doing. Let me scroll up and find the overall generate chain. We just take the job chain and return it. Okay. That's what we're doing. So if we have, let's see what kind of job chain were we generating? We were generating whatever a G is. G is a out chain job that is specifically what? Starting job type is transport or shunting load. Does not give us much insight. Although we should have seen, I think, one of these get printed. No, wait a minute. Yeah, shunting unload or, no, that's shunting unload, right? This is out chain. So I think we should have seen gen out shunting load or gen out transport, which we did, gen out shunting load, right? Okay. So it was a shunting load type, which means that we stored the result here. Okay. Did we do anything? Oh, no, right. We returned false here. That's good. Huh. Okay. And so this jumps into generate shunting load jobs with car spawning, which is where we were before. And we saw one instance of this. And then we saw some more getting track with free space. Where is getting track with free space? That's a good question. Doesn't seem to be in here. Oh, you know what? I think that getting track with free space. Let me getting track. Yeah, that is happening in here. Get track that has enough free space. Ooh, I wonder if it is something happening in here. This could be it. Because, of course, we see getting track with free space a lot. And then it bails. But I would have expected to see it. Would have expected to see it give us a little bit more information in the stack trace about where we're at, which is a little odd. But perhaps because it's in a Harmony patch. But I think we definitely saw crashes in a Harmony patch before. You know what? When I think about this, this doesn't make sense because this is inside a try catch. So if something goes wrong in here, we should see this happen. And in fact, you know what? This is not hitting any of the air handling that we have. because I've basically set up some error handling so that it will turn off the mod if it encounters like a very critical error. So I can actually jump over to that for a second. Yeah, so basically it sets a flag that says basically like the mod is broken, and it turns the mod off automatically, just to hopefully prevent folks from like, it's essentially meaning to prioritize gameplay over the mod actually working. So if the mod is going to fail, it prefers to keep the game running as opposed to crashing the game entirely. And I think there's certainly a question of I don't have what is this? Oh, 2 warnings. Right. Certainly, I should have put some logging here. Let me mark myself a to-do, log, and handle exception. Right. I actually don't think, I think this probably shouldn't be a critical failure, and it should probably instead just, this should be a warning instead then. Warning. Exception thrown during blah, blah, blah. Patch. /n falling back on base method. Because it doesn't, yeah, this, I was just changing the logic here a little bit so that instead of biasing always to the first track in the list of tracks, it would bias towards the track with the least available free space that still has enough free space for the train. I don't know if that is a good idea or not, but certainly it leaves the larger tracks open for larger trains. And hopefully also it becomes a little bit more interesting than because I think I had seen some folks complaining that jobs always tended to go to particular sidings, and I think this is part of why that is because it was just taking the first available track with enough free space, which especially when like jobs are despawning at other stations, the tracks will be completely empty, and so it'll bias towards taking tracks from one side of the yard or the other. But this should hopefully fix that a little bit. Certainly is not as good, not quite as good at mixing it up as taking like a random track would be. But certainly it's a little bit better. Okay. And yeah, I would have expected to see something in there, but I'm not, that's why I'm really kind of confused as to why I'm seeing it in here. This dot job generation attempt, job chain controller, right? But it's doing a null check on that. Weird. Super, super weird. Well, let's see if we run it again, if we will get any more insight into what is going on here. especially now that we have fixed that log line back over here to actually display the number of trains, or rather train types, right, that it is pulling from here. Do I have a, oh, I do. Nice, okay. Oh no, it's launching in VR mode. Ah, close. Thought I would be able to save some time there, but turns out I just wasted it instead. All right, but honestly, not the worst thing because I forgot to reset my save game. Okay. Non-VR, please. All right, let's hop over to the steel mill again. Okay, see how we're doing so far. We are certainly generating lots of stuff here. I do see some G's in here, which we were seeing before. So I think G, if I recall correctly, was shunting load. Oh man, I don't remember what I was. Let's take a look. Scrolling through this file, trying to find letters. Here we go. Yeah, so G is out chains, H is in chains, I is empty hall. Right. Right, and so we see that, for instance, G is showing out shunting load, out shunting load, out shunting load, out shunting load. Yeah, certainly not seeing many unloads or transports, but promising signs to see things actually coming together here. And I think the reason why we're not seeing some of those is probably just because lots of the tracks are already full. Let's see. So it looks like, oh, we still have a null reference exception. Maybe that's just something that is normal. Well, I'm also seeing here we have a list of 3. Oh, and that's actually wrong. That train car should be train car types, or train car type rather. But it looks like, yeah, we're trying to get what? Did I? Oh, you know what? Yeah, I did a silly thing. Oh, goodness. I forgot to rebuild the solution. I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's so wrong. But this should be train car type also. So let's go ahead and update that and rebuild this time. And we'll go ahead and launch it again. I think I'll just continue on with that save for now, since nothing seemed to have gone wrong. I think the only times I really need to reload or to revert the save file is when where did my thoughts go? Outside of my head, but not through my mouth, apparently. The only time I really need to revert the save file is when the mod gets deactivated and we see jobs and cars potentially despawning. Right, so if I hop back over this way, let's see if anything happens here. What am I looking for? We're looking for here. Yeah, certainly some interesting things to be looking at here. Successfully loaded job chain. Okay. It just looks like it's startup type stuff. So, yeah, let me, it seems potentially promising. So let me run back over here to the other locomotive, somewhere over here. I think maybe more this way. It should be running, I think. Oop, fell off the bridge there. Yes, I hear it. Right, okay. So let's try this again. Assuming we're still up and running here. Oh, keep forgetting the reverser. Let's take a look. Ah! That's all right. Where was this one? Value cannot be null at collection. Let's take a look at Do we see anything here? We certainly see some things. Let's open the detailed log again. So shunting, generate shunting load job with car spawning. And this one is just being troublesome. Adding range. What are these parameters? Do I see them here? Train car types, rail track, prevent auto couple on last cars. Okay. Start span, I don't know what that means. Flip train consist, no, and random car orientation is true. Well, I guess, in that case, because I see here, let's see, we have, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing again here, but this time we do see cars with range 0 to 2 from the list of train car type with length of 3, which makes sense, like that should work fine. Range start, which is 0, as expected. And then, so range count, that means is 2, which means that, right, we have a length of 3 on the train car types, which means we're generating 3 train cars here. So we would expect the first one, so I is 0, which is less than the count train sets with extra car is going to be count train cars, which is 3, modulo tracks.count, which is going to be 2, which is going to result in 1, right? And so 1 is greater than 0. So certainly we expect that first one to be 2. Right, and the length is 3. So odd. What? Let's take another look at spawn car types on track. I think we had that open here somewhere. No, it was in here. Spawn car types on track. All right. Uninitialized spawn data. Oh, I see. So if we hop in here, we can see uninitialized spawn data, populate spawn data. Interesting, there's a strict variety of it, which just kind of says, I don't care if you were able to do it successfully or not, just do it. Yeah, because there's a cannot fit on track check, which is interesting. Because I thought I was already checking to see if, let's see, couldn't find a station with enough free space for train. How are we checking this? So we have available destinations, which is, what is this coming from? This is coming from stations. Right, this is looking like endgame. Okay, so we're looking at the current station for tracks. And we have an approximate train length. Oh, interesting. Uh-huh. So here we're just kind of blindly dividing the approximate train length by the number of tracks. So if we have a train with 3 cars of equal length, then obviously we can't have like 1.5 cars on each siding. Right. So I think I'm going to need to compute this information. Where did it go? This information here a little bit earlier. We're going to need to do it around the time that we choose the tracks. And so this is going to become count tracks, and so this approximate train length we use later on. So it is good to have it, but we don't need it quite yet. So let's go ahead and move this down here. But we will need to compute this on the fly, basically, because we have ordered train car types and count train cars. So each time here, we're going to create a new list of train car type, which I totally, I mean, I guess the cars go on a track, so they are track cars as well, but no, train car types. And this is going to be basically like the, I don't know, call it subset, I guess. But this is going to be equal to ordered train car types, and we're going to get a particular range from it. And it's actually going to be pretty much the same logic that we have down below, right, which is just range start and range count, which means I'm actually going to need this to be copied up here as well. So range start, range count, that's our subset. We're gonna give this a little bit more descriptive of a name. I'm gonna call it train car types per track, because this is for one of the tracks that we are selecting. And so we are going to say basically the same thing here, except instead of being approximate train length, which it doesn't like because it's clobbering this in the higher scope, even though it's preceding it. But so approx train length, we'll just call it per track. Right, but this is going to, instead of being ordered train car types, this will be train car types per track, and this will be train car types per track count. Right, okay, and so that should get us not trying to use tracks that are too short for the train. But it's probably not a bad idea. Where did it go? Here it is. Yeah, let's just take a look here. And we'll say if spawned cars is null. Let's just try to handle this a little bit here. We'll say log dot, or logger, no, not logger. We want debug dot log error. Huh. Ordered train cars is the one we're building here. Yeah, we can just copy that logic. That's fine. So log error couldn't spawn train cars. And we'll do this same thing again. Failed to spawn some train cars. Okay. Let's go ahead and build that again. Give it a rebuild, and we'll try it again. Right. Okay. Let's reset the save game data. And we'll go ahead and relaunch. of course, the moment of truth when we see if things have worked out this time. Kind of optimistic that they have, so I'll get this locomotive powering up here and getting its brakes off. And certainly that looks like less errors than we were seeing before. And we see there is one of these that's G. It's a shunting load job. It seems to be populating correctly, as far as I can tell. Yep, spawning cars with range 0 to 8 from, well, it only picked one track that time. We'll get more chances to see how that goes. All right, let's move these out of the way. Well, we are waiting here. Oops. All right. Let's see, with that out of the way, let's go catch up with that other train, and we will then take a look at what the logs look like, especially after we've run through that station again. And probably kicked off another round of job generation. Here we are, and just in time too, because we certainly need to get the speed under control. We're coming down this descent here. Let's take a look at the logs. Ah, rats. Oh, let's open the detailed log. Far down here. Okay. No, it's further down. Here we go. Okay. Error thrown in train, cars, create, job, or delete, check. Okay. Train set grouping. Oh. I think I know what this is related to. Maybe. I think I might have used a sorted rather a sorted list there. When I was first using them, I did not understand quite how to dereference elements inside of them. And so that seems to be what that like error message is consistent with, particularly this part here. The given key was not present in the dictionary. Right, so I think we're going to get things, we're going to have to load that back up and take a look. And, oh, well, that's the thing. Good thing I'm just going to reset the save anyway. We thought we were testing mods, but we were testing crashes, crash testing. Nah, we're actually testing mods. Okay. All right, so that was in the coroutine. Right, and the coroutine is down here. And we were looking at, which part again? Train set grouping. Train set grouping, right. So let's go take a look at this. And we have a dictionary. Interesting. Okay, this is not what I expected. The given key was not present in the dictionary. I think I know. I think I have to use this instead. Contains. And I have to say if it doesn't contain. Maybe it's something else here. Oh, come on. Give me, oh, that's why. Contains key. Aha. And train set is tc.trainset. Right, so if it does not contain the key, we add it. Is this how this works? I'm just gonna kind of guess that most of this is not working the way that I think it is. Yeah, okay. This is not JavaScript, Nico. You can't just be dereferencing things all willy-nilly. And I'm guessing this probably also, I probably have to use element at. I'm guessing element at. What does it want? Element at. No, that is an index. Maybe this is the one where I can just do this. Let me look this up. You know what? That would be a smart thing to do. C# dictionary. RTFM, I suppose. All right, examples. So they're adding key and value. And then oh, interesting. Anyway. So if a key does not exist, setting the indexer for that key adds a new key value pair. What's the error saying? The given key was not present in the dictionary. Okay, so it sounds like I do just look things up via the indexer. can be used to change the value associated with the key if the key does not exist. It adds a new key value pair. Throws an exception if the requested key is not in the dictionary, but only for get operations. Yeah, for set operations, it does not throw, looks like. So, yeah, I could change this back, but that is fine. Yeah, so I think I'm going to need to take a look for things where I'm using an indexer and then comparing against null. And of course, there is somewhere else where I'm doing that. So let's go ahead and change this one too. Contains key. And of course, we need to negate that because we want to know if it does not contain the key. And heck, let's just do this as well. All right. All right, I need to get rid of that. So now if I do this search again for an indexer, actually, let's use regular expressions here. I think I might need to escape that one. We'll make that optional and that optional as well. Find all. Let me just try, let's try it with an escape just to make sure. Okay. So we are not seeing it anywhere here, so that is promising. All right, let's rebuild and try again. Oh, one failed. Why? We have an error. What is our error? Ah, I forgot a parenthesis. Okay. Let's try that again. There we go. Yes, Latter, I crashed. Go figure that when you are distracted while driving a train, you tend to crash. Oh, and you know what? I forgot to reset the save file, didn't I? All right. Well, let us try this again. Should probably be enough, at least to get started here. All right, let's get this fired up. Take a look at those logs. They're looking good so far. Let's take a look at these two. Let's see, do we have anything? No, not really anything of note in here yet. Oh yeah. Oh good. Yeah, so we spawned some cars with range 0 to 3 from a list of 6. That seems promising. And we didn't log anything in here necessarily. All right, brake pressure is up. Let's get moving off the main line. That was the wrong way. There we go. There's neutral. All right, we got that off of the main line. Let's go throw this switch this time. And hopefully once we catch back up with our other train, we won't see any errors in the logs. I hear it. There it is. I think we may have actually gotten back to it faster that time. Just a little bit. All right, let's take a look at those logs. Nice, so we've got we see the coroutine is running here, and it has gotten through the entire task list. So it collected delete candidates, it grouped the train cars by train set, it grouped the train sets by station, it populated some cargo groups for those, it picked jobs for them, it generated jobs, it removed the cars that it generated jobs for from the list of cars to delete, and it deleted any of the ones that were left. Very cool. Should probably see some more log items. No, not quite. I suppose we did not get far enough out of range to trigger more job generation. are arriving here at Goods Factory in town. We're headed over to D6I to bring in this job. Now, of course, this is a job that was created before the updates to the mod. So if I'm not mistaken, it will not exactly follow the mod's logic, but at least dropping it off here, we can explore what some of these other jobs might do. Right, let's go turn this job in and then do some more testing. So certainly that is the one that was next in the job chain for the one that we just dropped off. Okay, and let's see, shunting, here's a load, there's a load. I think I actually want to, let me see. So if I pick these up, actually that might be an interesting experiment. That's probably going to be more interesting than these other ones. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and put all of these in my inventory. You'll see why in a moment. I'm also going to pick up, I'm going to put these in my inventory too for now. But certainly I'm going to do something a little bit different with them. because basically what I want to do is I want to see if I can find those cars. And then I will actually trash the jobs. And I expect that because they're flat cars, and because I believe Goods Factory will ship things. Actually, let's take a look at like a goods haul. Yeah, this is certainly has some flat cars involved in it. Let's see. We'll find where 26 is in a moment. I'm just gonna turn this locomotive off for right now. Yeah. Okay. So let's go find that other one that we were just looking at. Okay, Freight Hall 26. And it happens to be this one. Okay, yeah, so certainly flat cars are one of the train types that have jobs available for them here. So let's go see if we can find those empties. These are some state cars. I think we're looking for, what are we looking for? Let's find out. Logistic Hall 23, yeah, 23 and 58. 23 and 58, right. What has happened? Oh, that is super interesting. I think that, of course, this is not something that I can report right now because I'm using mods, but it appears that if you're holding tab when you push escape, your cursor gets locked in this like limited movement mode. I'm guessing that if I do that, yeah, it's going to unlock it. Super interesting. Probably a bit of an edge case that the devs weren't thinking of. And let's take a look here. Don't see the ones we're looking for yet. Oh, and while we're at it, let's take a look at the logs here and just see, make sure everything is looking good. Yep, everything is looking good so far. We'll check the other ones too. Perhaps, oh, there's no scroll back on this. Okay, that's fine. Okay. All right, we are looking for some flat cars still. Let's see, 58, was that one of them? Yes. Okay, so here is where, let's see, what is the train, the car number on this? Let's make a note of this. This is CFF 106. Now we are looking for 23, which has 3 cars. And might be this one? Nope. It is not. It's over on this side, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay. So then we're also looking for CFF 687. Now you'll understand why I'm making note of these in a moment. I've also got CFF 516. And CFF 900. Okay, so let us go trash these 2 jobs. All right, 23, in you go. 58, in you go. Actually, I don't know if that works. I might actually have to take them first. That's fine. I can do that. All right, we'll do that instead because I would have expected them to like despawn right away. This is fine. So we will activate these 2 jobs. Denied. Oh, wait. I have another. What? I could swear I have concurrent jobs. Oh, wait. You've reached the limit of concurrent active jobs. Consider buying. Don't I have the concurrent jobs license? Oh, no, I don't. Oh, interesting. Okay. How much money do I have? Can I buy it? I can, or I can just hack it in. Yeah, let's buy it. All right, concurrent jobs one. You know what? It's going to complain. I don't have my fees cleared. How much fees do we have? I only need to pay $100. All right, that's fine. Do it. No fees. Okay. Licenses. Right. Okay. Now let's do this. Concurrent jobs. Right. I don't care about the booklet. What I care about is activating this job. Right. Okay. And the reason why I need to do this is because I need to abandon these jobs. So that was which one? 23, which should be the one at the far end of the station. So let's go make sure that these don't have, yep, there is no job number associated with them anymore. Okay, that is as expected. Let's still go ahead and make sure here. Yeah, we haven't seen anything weird lately. All right, and let's also trash that one. And go make sure, yep, no job number associated with any of those 4 cars. So let's take a hike. And we'll just go take the shortcut, go across the mountain. I don't know exactly how far we need to go, but we should see collecting deletion candidates. I think I may actually need to wait things out a little bit too. Or do I? I most certainly do. Oops, that is not what I wanted. No, minimize. There we go. Let's take a look at main. I think I've extended this. Yep. All right, so let's watch the logs here. But I believe that we should be seeing some more logs generate within the next 5 minutes, which will hopefully associate some new jobs with those train cars. So yeah, here we are, waiting for a little bit. I think I will go ahead and see. Let's open that back up. That way, I will go ahead here and I'll put on some tunes while we wait. And I'm going to take a little bit of a break for myself, and I will be back shortly. Stay tuned. All right, so let's try that again now that y'all can hear me. Luckily, I caught it early that time. But as I was saying, so it does look like it's gone through the list of tasks here, collecting candidates, grouping them by train sets, grouping them by station, populating the cargo groups, picking jobs, generating the jobs, saving them from deletion, and then deleting whatever stragglers are left. And it's gone ahead and kicked that off again. So we should be all set to head on back over to goods factory and town and to take a look at what has happened to those train cars that we ditched the jobs for, and to also see what has become of the rest of the train cars associated with jobs, that were associated with jobs there. Where am I going? Do I need to be over this way? You know what? This is a perfect time for a map. I am way going the wrong way. Okay. That is better. All right. So I would expect to see that this train car still exists. It does not still exist. Okay. That's a shame. How about the ones at the far end? Aha. They do exist. Okay. No. These look like new ones? Or did it reassign the numbers? Interesting. It may have reassigned the numbers because this definitely before was CFF 900 or perhaps CFF 687. And this one was 516. And of course, this one at the other end was whatever the one at that one wasn't. So it definitely looks like they've got new numbers associated with them, which certainly makes me wonder if they are brand new cars that have been spawned in place of the old ones, or if they are in fact the ones that used to be there, but they've just been like had their car numbers updated for some reason. I think either way, it's good that they're there because we can use them to test we can use them to test the job chain rewrite from end to end. So let's go ahead and dump the rest of these back out on the table. Great, and the one that we're left with is this brand new job. Oh, excuse me. Where are we headed with this one? Food factory in town. Okay, this should be a pretty quick run all around. But certainly it will be good to test all these things out. No! Ah! Shoot. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, yikes. Okay. Please hold. So close. Oh, you know what? I should have opened the detail log there. Shoot. Well, it was an out job. I think is what it said. That was a missed opportunity. I am kicking myself for that. While we're here, I'm going to stage some of these just to check them in. Not using the best of commit messages today, but that's all right. I'm just being lazy a little bit. All right, well, now that that has happened, what are we going to do? We're going to load back up. Yeah, we're going to load back up. Let's see how this goes. This is all right.
Yeah.
Oh, what has happened to that job booklet? Has it gone back to here? Perhaps it has. 64 was the one we were looking at. Yep. Ooh. I have a feeling. Yeah, well, we're going to test this out. But I have a feeling that I've actually missed part of what needs to be implemented here. And that these are not quite going to, these jobs that are being generated by the mod are not going to survive across saves and loads quite the way that they should. That's going to be interesting. Okay, yeah. So my theory, if what I'm assuming about the way that these jobs will not survive the save file like boundary, is that when we deliver this train to Food Factory, I think it's going to wind up trying to generate no, not even when we deliver it, because it needs to be loaded first. So when we load it, I think it's going to wind up trying to generate an empty haul or logistical haul job instead of a transport job. We shall see. Track's not empty. I think I had one more this side that was empty. Yeah. In fact, this track looks, yeah, this track is not associated with any particular track, so that one is just free track to run around on. Thanks y'all for sticking through with me here to test these things. I think I have a pretty good feeling that that hypothesis that I mentioned a moment ago is going to be the case, and assuming that is true, that's probably where I will end the stream for tonight. And I will have to work some more on the logic on my own off stream. Just take a little look here. Yep, certainly have some action going on there in the logs. Oh, you know what? That is the wrong switch. I need to be back a little bit further. Yes, that certainly goes into the little engine yard over there, and I want to be taking this one that heads on over to the other side of the station. And that is far enough. All right. And I'm certainly am hoping that I am coming through on the right track here. But I have a feeling that I may actually need to be, like, there's two sets of tracks over here. I may actually need to be on the far ones. And I think the only way over there might be either through the passenger station or around the other side of the loading yard. Oh, you know what? No, these ones were over on the far side. That's right. All right, let's take a peek here again. Everything is looking pretty good in there. And right, don't see anything out of place there either. Let's go ahead and take this job. Okay. Gonna load it, and we're gonna put it on D3O. Sure. Okay, I'm actually going to, well, let me check in real quick. Oh, we have some more stuff going on here. Okay. So let's go ahead and not forget to open this time. Oh, interesting. It was in process job overview. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that one. That seems odd, since that was certainly part of the mod before. I wonder if I have always had an issue, perhaps. Okay, so let's go ahead and quit here. All right, let me take a look at this one real quick. We are looking for process job overview. Process job overview is, of course, right here. Now, I have a feeling it has something to do with this. And it says we're looking for first or default, which is this one here. Or is it this one here? Job is coming from the overview. We're looking at first or default. The value cannot be null. Oh, so we have first or default right on the outside, and then we go back to the patch here. And then we do first or default again. So I believe that this is the inner first or default. And it's saying something about value cannot be null for source. That might be talking about this. Let's see, T is what here? Is the task. Expire the job if all associated cars are outside the job destruction range. You know what? I bet that this, because this is a shunting load job, and I bet that this outer task is a. I still have task open somewhere here. Here's task data. So I'm betting that the outer task is actually a different type. It's probably a, what do you call it? Parallel. It's probably a parallel tasks, which just has a list of tasks. Which means, yeah, this logic has to change. That also means, because I don't think that I've changed this, let me take a look at the commit history. Older. Yeah, I think that was changed here.
I don't know, actually. I don't really. Probably.
Yep, here's adding the task and then getting cars from the task, which don't exist in the case of shunting. Yep, so so this is actually a bug that is in the current version. Fantastic. By fantastic, I mean actually not that great. Okay, but so I've certainly have some more data on what's going on based on the testing here today. So I think that's probably where I will wrap things up. So thank you everyone for tuning in this evening, or I suppose whatever time of day it is where you are. And thanks for hanging out with me for a little while. I will hopefully have this all tested up and finished soon enough, and you can try it out for yourself. Of course, head on over to the Nexus Mods page, and you can find it over there under the Derail Valley mods, and it is just called Persistent Jobs. And you can go ahead and track it if you want to get updates. And certainly there will be an update coming soon enough, soon-ish. Anyway, so head on over there if you would like, and just go ahead and subscribe to the updates there, and then you'll be notified in some way. I think it's through this notification panel, which is not the best, but you'll certainly have some way of knowing when it's updated. But so again, thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you on the next stream. Take care, y'all.